Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on Chess.com's Tactics Trainer and going to do another group of 3 puzzles. Simply share my thoughts along the way. So in this first one, playing as white. Where is black vulnerable? They have an unprotected rook, d8. This has my attention. If black has a move, they could maybe throw their knight into f3. The g-pawn is pinned. But let's look at some more direct stuff, like if we take the knight, the queen pretty much has to recapture. The queen is unprotected potentially on e5, the rook is unprotected still on d8. How can we maybe exploit these undefended pieces? These are the only points that I'm really seeing as sensitive for black. e5, d8. Another thing that's actually coming to mind is maybe something with f4, because it is a fork, but I see e takes f en passant, so don't know if that's really such a good idea. What more to look into? Okay, so this is one candidate move, but I'm not quite sure what the follow-up would even be. Knight takes knight, queen takes knight. Is there any great knight move? The knight on d4, is he going to do anything great? Okay, so this queen is restricted. She has to defend the knight. So we could disrupt the queen's defense of the knight by playing h4. That must be what it is. I don't see in what other way black is deficient here. Yeah, recognizing the defending piece, give her a boot. h4, the h5 square is covered with the bishop. I wonder what the computer would go in for on h4. If the knight goes in here, we could just take it with the bishop or the knight, and the pawn is still on the queen, so there's no time to take the minor piece on f3 with e takes f. This must be what it is, to disrupt the queen's position and just win a piece. Okay, well, I had the right idea to focus in on this square. I was seeing it as the queen being unprotected on e5. Another take on that could have been just seeing that the queen was restricted on g5 and to try and deflect her away from the defense of e5. Okay, not too bad. Let's try number 2. Ooh, very simplified. And we're playing as black. These guys are ready to queen. One move away from queening as white. Okay, well, let me just say right off the bat I'm thinking about rook here, because I know what white must do. On rook d2, white has to play here. How to stop these pawns? Oh, you know what this is? This is something related to combining a threat against a pawn with the rook as well as a mate threat. Right now, these the kings being a knight's move apart, the rook, any rook move isn't really going to threaten mate just yet. So if we play first rook g2 and disrupt the king's position, after rook g2 if king f1, we play then rook to d2, threatening mate and threatening the pawn. If we come here right away, pawn push, and we run the risk of losing. These guys are very far advanced. e7, e8, tough to stop that. By inserting this check, rook g2, king f1, rook d2, they have to stop the mate, and in the meantime we grab the pawn, and then soon thereafter the e-pawn. So the only other variation to consider is after rook g2, suppose king goes to the corner. Well, I know what we would do in that case as well, because, well, we could still play rook to d2, threatening this pawn, and after e6, they're going to get mated. King to g3, and we're threatening rook to d1, and you can't really stop that. King could go to g1, but we're still playing d1 for mate. So when the king is in the corner, and our king is on g3, it's going to take him 2 moves to fend off a mate and 1 threat. And, well, he's just too slow to do that. So this is the important key move, I believe. Rook g2, disrupt the king's position, and they're going for this. King f1, rook d2 only now, and we simply scoop up that pawn. Very important you insert that check first. What's the other? The other variation is this one right here. Check, king goes to the corner, we come over here, you could defend that pawn, but after king g3, soon mate, they could promote. We just grab and pick your favorite move next. Rook here will be mate. Okay. Not bad. Let's try one more. Team Black. Okay. My eye is immediately drawn to the h2 square to disrupt the, just like in puzzle 1, the defending piece, the king in this case. There's tension on the f1 square. In fact, in that first puzzle, I could have viewed it as the tension on the e5 square, how to disrupt the defender of the e5 square. So in this case, there's tension on f1, how to disrupt the king's position. We could play bishop here. And we are winning the exchange. I know how to do the I know how we could win the exchange, and I think that that's just going to be it for this one. Bishop h2, and then rook takes rook. Is that really enough, though? Honestly, I don't really see how there would be something more. Looking at some intersection squares like f2, bishop and rook, I don't really see how you could take advantage or make use of the f2 square. It's covered pretty well. 3 white pieces are on that. There's just one piece striking at g2. He's pretty much a non-factor in the game, the rook on h8. Yeah, I think that this is another instance of a deflection tactic. Bishop h2, king takes, rook. No. There, it's something more, actually. Yeah, you know what? It's not this, as tempting as it is. Bishop h2, king takes, rook, bishop takes g5. Not so clear. We're only getting a pawn, or 1 point. You know, we're winning the exchange, but white is getting a pawn in return. Bishop h2, king takes bishop, rook takes rook. Bishop takes g5. And this king is actually close to being mated with bishop to e7. Yeah, black is in a tough spot with their king, so you have to be pretty careful. I think we actually take this, and I should probably retract that earlier statement about this rook being a non-factor. He's going to be a factor. Yeah, we could take the rook on f1. King takes, only move, and then give this check on c4, forcing the king back to g1, and then we have one quiet move. Something that I maybe should have mentioned much earlier on in this puzzle. There isn't a good punch that white could be throwing against the black king, so quiet moves may very well be in this or be available, and they are. Rook takes, rook, king takes, bishop c4, king g1, rook f8. How do you stop rook f1 mate? You don't. You're getting there. White has good control over f2. This rook is really out of play, so too is this bishop. They can't defend against the rook f1 mate. This was tempting, but I'm pretty sure rook takes, king takes, bishop check, king g1, and only then rook f8 to f1. Yeah, that should do it. Take. Check. Rook f8 and puzzle solved. Yep, that's going to do it. Very tempting, for sure. I'm glad I held off on playing bishop h2 right away. Yeah, not really working, because they get this pawn, and now we're pretty much on the defensive. Tricky to win. Even, even if you try to defend this square with this, there's other ways to question the king's position. Bishop here, now what are you doing about bishop to g3? Can't move this pawn because the bishop would get the rook. You could go here, but yeah, it's white and all of a sudden who's struggling, and still two bishops on the board. King is in a tough spot. Yep, tempting, but not best. Best is to grab the rook and then actually look for mate. Okay, not a bad group of 3. Feel free to leave any feedback, as usual, to this video in the comment section below. And as usual, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.